So this is the pasalubong in Tagalog is what we call it. These are gifts for our host families. They told us to bring two from the States, one for our training family and then one for our permanent family. And that's what I did. Some people, I think, misunderstood that and only brought one. I mean, you can buy stuff once you're in country, but it's not really the same. So if you don't want to shortchange your permanent site host family, I would say try to bring at least a few things from the States times
Yeah.
two so that you can give one um, thank you gift to your training family and then another thank you gift to your permanent site family.
I think I ended up, so I went to a local, like, kind of sports goods
Let's pause
store.
right here.
Okay.
You go ahead.
I went to like a kind of like team spirit store basically. And I bought
Mm-hmm.
like a bunch of ref magnets and keychains. That's what I bought or brought. I brought like two ref magnets for I think four total, two for each host family. And then I brought some keychains, like one or two for each family. And then I think maybe I was like a little bit extra and brought a lot. I don't know, but I also brought Uno and then left, right, center, I think, and and then another card game which I am forgetting, which I gave to my host family. And actually, the card games ended up being great because my host family during CBT um, had like on the property, the house or like the building right next to us was my host Nanai's son and
Mm.
his wife and their two daughters. So when it was actually really funny because I forgot about my pasalubong for like 2 weeks of CBT. And so then, like 2 weeks into CBT, I was like, "Oh, Nanai, by the way, here's all of this stuff that I brought from the US. My bad. I literally forgot that it was in my stuff." Um, and she was like, "Oh, cool." And then I ended up teaching the card game to my niece, who was like 8, and we would play that a lot. We played that a lot after dinner. I would come home from work and then kind of chill along for a bit. And then after dinner, she would come over and be like, "Kuya Alex, can we play?" So that ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of good stories from the people that brought games as their gift. I think, if I remember correctly, I mean, I know Sam D is really big into chess, but I think she brought a small chessboard and gave it as
Yeah,
a pasalubong, and that ended up like being a centerpiece for like her family bonding, which is really cool.
yeah,
I also went to a varsity store. You could see previously I had like those cutting boards that had Tennessee on them. And then because I'm from Tennessee, I also I brought um, a little bottle of moonshine and a little bottle of Jack Daniels. And I actually
how did you
talked.
get those through?
So you can bring alcohol. You can bring alcohol into the Philippines. You just can't bring a certain amount. So they were small enough to get
Okay.
through. Um,
All
but
right.
I talked to the staff first and was like, "Hey, I brought this because it's like culturally appropriate, but is it okay to give it?" And they were like, "Well, yes, because your host dad is probably gonna at some point invite you to drink because it's a cultural thing, but wait a little while and get to know them before you give it." So,
Yeah.
definitely check on your country regulations and stuff. I think most of the time it probably is okay to bring that kind of thing, but you kind of have to be careful about it and make sure that it's culturally appropriate and that the family knows you and stuff. For me, it worked
Yeah.
out really well. Um, I will say, if you bring consumables, like the stuff that you bring is going to mean a lot to your family. So I had to like make my family drink the Jack Daniels with me because they like weren't gonna drink it. And I was like, no, I want you to try it because you've never tried it before. So I had to like force them basically to
Convince them to open the bottle.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, okay. Go to 3132 if you can get there.
Yep.
All right, sick. Let's go 3, 2, 1, play. So these are my waterproof Brooks tennis shoes that I bought. Probably could have. Yeah, with my extra ass. Honestly, these have been really handy though. They're ugly, but they're waterproof and they're really durable. So I bought some.
That ugly.
They look ugly when they're on with a pair of dress pants.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but you know what? I wear them anyways. I wear these almost every day to work because they're comfortable to walk in, they're comfortable to bike in, and they're waterproof. So any puddles and stuff, it's not a big deal. So even if they're ugly, you know, it's kind of like the makeup. Eventually, you're not really going to care because nobody else cares and you don't truly know anybody here where you're serving. So you just wear what's comfortable and cool and, you know, makes you feel good. So,
yeah.
They may be ugly, but they're functional and they're comfortable. So
they get the job done. They were pretty good when we were they were pretty damn good when we were in Dagupan.
Yeah, and I was just walking through puddles.
Yeah, your ass was literally stepping in puddles like you had like a worm wish or something.
Worm wish. So
oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I had a pocket tool like this and I didn't put it in my check bag.
Oh.
And the Korean airline staff, during security, they opened my backpack and they pulled it out and they looked at me and they were like, "What is this? You can't take this in with you. Give it to us right now." They took it.
Bro, that's tragic. Remember when they almost took my little squishy dude?
Oh yeah, because you're being extra. Dude, the Koreans.
This is not a big laptop.
I was not being extra. I just had a freaking stress ball.
No, they were being extra.
Oh, they were being extra for sure.
The airport security, I experienced that when I studied there. The airport security in Korea are so like, what is your problem?
Yeah, they are not playing around. Yeah, literally, who hurt you?
They really do not play around. They really do not play around.
I do recommend bringing a good pocket knife, though. A good pocket knife is that pocket knife that I brought. I bought it brand new, and it's been extremely handy. I'm glad I brought it.
Yeah.
This is my personal laptop that I use at work. It's very slim, very small. If you're only going to bring one laptop, I would definitely recommend bringing one like this that is small, compact, easy to carry around. I think I'm about to show my second laptop. Yep. So that's the one that I'm actually recording this video on right now because gaming is a big part of my life and a big part of like how I stay connected socially to my family and friends. I brought my smaller work laptop and I also brought this gaming laptop with me, and I don't regret bringing them both for one single second because I use them both very, very often. So it kind of goes back to there's going to be stuff that you're going to pack that seems really extra to other people, but if you actually can justify it and use it, then it's still worth it.
My head's on crooked and my mouth's dry.
By God.
Yeah. I will say we're kind of blessed because the Philippines is a very connected country. So if we had any issues with electronics or wanted to buy another laptop, if I wanted to go buy a laptop for some reason, I could very easily.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not going to be that case for all Peace Corps posts, because not all of them are going to have that kind of access to technology or malls, etc. But yeah, if it's something you're going to use, why not bring it? I mean, I actually though, if it's something that you will use more than I would say 3 or 4 days out of the week, you should probably bring it, because if you're already using it that much anyway, if you're not working, it's something that you can bring and use in your free time and keep you occupied. Or, I mean, I guess if you really want to be crazy and, new year, new me, and start fresh, find new hobbies here and find new stuff to do in country, then go for it. But I was not going to do that, so I brought a laptop because I'm gamer. So
Yeah, I mean, I think both are relevant. If you really want to like reinvent yourself going into Peace Corps, some people are all about that. That's fine. But I really don't think that you can fully appreciate and understand how big of an emotional, mental challenge and strain it is to be here. Now, that may not be the case for everybody, especially if you have a lot of this type of experience prior to going into Peace Corps. But I know for me personally, even though I did AmeriCorps totally on the other side of the country from where I was from, this is a totally different type of experience, immersion. So for me, I was glad that I brought stuff like my gaming laptop, because it's one of my biggest hobbies. It's something that gives me comfort. And I don't really know what I would have been doing with a lot of my time if I didn't have that, because it's both been a very personal thing that I've done to kind of de-stress, but it's also been something that I've done with the other Peace Corps members that also enjoy gaming, like with you and Josh and Sam A and Nee. It's been like a really big bonding thing as well. So yeah, I mean, if you're bringing the stuff that you're most passionate about, your hobbies, you're going to meet people that also think that stuff is really cool and like doing that stuff. So they're probably going to do it with you. So it's just like with people bringing chessboards and stuff. Like there's like several people in our batch that love chess. So they don't regret bringing the chessboards and stuff because they're getting to use it and use it as like a bonding tool within the batch itself. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Prayers, actually. No.
Ooh. Bless up.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with that, If you're not sure about it, but it's something that you would probably use or would bring you a lot of comfort, bring it. Because if I didn't have, I brought my Switch with me, and I got games on my phone. So if I really needed to, I could become a mobile gamer legend. But
like everyone else here.
Yeah, because everybody is playing Mobile Legends. Did I tell you that like 7 of my students wanted to add me on Mobile Legends so that they could 1v1 me?
Oh, probably beat your ass too.
We haven't done it yet. There have been no 1v1s yet. But yeah, I'm afraid because I feel like they will beat my ass. But that's a side note. Yeah, I think, especially because I am relatively rural and there is all to do around here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I didn't have a laptop if I had a laptop that was not good enough to game on, I would be pretty disappointed. I would definitely find other ways to occupy my time, like probably endlessly scroll Twitter, X.
I was gonna say, you mean X?
Yeah, or like do some writing or something. Like I would find other things to do, but I'm definitely glad that I brought a laptop that can handle gaming, because that has provided me with a great deal of comfort and like something to spend my time on that is both relaxing and allows me to decompress and like get away from the work environment, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
And also bond with my fellow volunteers like you and Josh and Sam.
Gang.
So it's actually also been kind of an interesting cultural connection. I've made a couple of friends, not students, just to clarify, not my 10-year-old students, um, adult friends that I actually was playing. I played League with this guy from the Philippines that I met online earlier, like literally earlier today. We
That's
just
sick.
like he sent me a message and he was like, "Hey, you want to play a few rounds?" And we did, and then he logged off. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, especially because the Philippines is, like, again, to reiterate, a very connected country.
right.
Gaming and technology are huge here, so it's been Gucci.
Yeah, bring the stuff to do what you're passionate about. Whether it's you're being extra and bringing 2 laptops so that you can game on one of them, or whether you're bringing a Nintendo DS, which actually you and a lot of people did. Is that right? A
Actually, a
DS?
Nintendo Switch.
What?
Nintendo Switch.
Clearly, I've
sir.
not had a Nintendo in a minute.
Yeah, apparently.
if you
because
brought a
Nintendo DS,
PSP, no, I'm kidding.
first of
Um,
all,
but like Sam D brought like no joke like 10 books in her suitcase. And it's like for me that's insane, but she doesn't regret it because she read all of them and then she exchanged them and she has more and she shared a lot of them with fellow volunteers. So it's like,
that's
that's what she loves. So another thing that I brought that was probably shown but we just skipped over it. I brought exercise bands, um, and yeah, just exercise bands, which I used a lot, and I still use them sometimes, even though I have a gym membership now. So it's like one of my passions, one of my exact opposite passions from playing video games is working out. And especially during your pre service training, you're probably not going to have access to a gym, or you're not really going to know or understand how to get to it or be allowed to, even if you know where one is. So
true.
if you have exercise bands, if you bring a jump rope, that kind of thing is probably going to be handy. Or if you want to bring a yoga mat, a lot of that stuff you can buy when you get here because you're probably going to be close to some type of shopping center or mall. But if you're passionate about it and you bring it, whatever. While you're thinking, I'll say my last thing. So the only thing that I found myself wishing that I brought is consumables. So it's like it's not really realistic to bring more of them. There's always going to be stuff that you're going to wish you had that you just can't get in country. Like for me,
Yeah.
recently I've had a craving for like a Monster energy drink. Early on, I had a big craving for like making my own coffee, and coffee was really hard to find in country. Once I got to permanent side, I realized it was a little easier to find coffee than I thought it was going to be. But before, I was wishing that I had brought some coffee with me. So, like, if you really love coffee or you really love tea or something like that, then maybe that's the consumable that you want to bring with you to the country so that for like the first 1 to 3 months, you can use your supply as you figure out how you can get that thing in country if you can at all. So that's just my final thought.
Yeah. I don't think there's really anything that I brought that we didn't already touch on. I don't know if you touched on in the gadgets, like a razor or a trimmer.
But we skipped over it. Yeah, go for it.
I didn't bring my trimmer from the States, and because I was under the impression that I was going to have to remain clean shaven the whole time.
Yep.
So I brought a bunch of like disposable razors and disposable razor blades to replace. And then in the end, we got here, and I mean, I just trimmed the other day, but like you saw my face before, I literally had like, I was growing a full beard before I trimmed it, and nobody asks questions, nobody cares. So I ended up having to buy one during, I think, PST wrap up. I bought one for before swearing in. Yeah, that's what it was. Because I went to SM and I bought a razor. I bought a trimmer, an electric trimmer at SM before swearing in. And I wish that I had just brought the one from home because it would have been nicer and it would have saved me a decent amount of money. And I would have already accounted for that in my stuff, because then I had to somehow manage to figure out how I was going to put it in all of my stuff to take to my permanent site. Whereas if I had brought it with me, I would have just already accounted for that space. But I don't think there's really.
I want to comment on what you were just talking about. So, yeah, they gave us the impression that we were going to have to be clean shaven the entire time. I don't know if I can really put it on them that they ever said that, but the most they would tell us is that we needed to be prepared to be clean shaven and keep our hair short. So,
Yeah.
I also was considering not bringing my electric trimmer, because before I was gonna like not bring a razor and just bring my electric trimmer, but then I was like, oh, do I just need to only bring my razor and not bring my electric trimmer? I was really glad that I brought my good quality electric trimmer. If you're a guy, just bring it so that you have it. I'll also say I went out and bought a more big brand, like big box Gillette razor, because I was like, oh, it's going to be easier to find refills for this. The thing is, here in the Philippines specifically, the refills for the big name brands like Gillette, they're really expensive. And on one hand, it's easier just to buy disposables. On the other hand, here where I live in my municipality, you can almost not find an affordable razor, either disposable or not. A lot of them are also two blade. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have a very thick beard. I really need at least 3 blades or more for it not to destroy my skin and give me all kinds of razor bumps. And those are like really hard to find. So I would say definitely bring a solid set of like a good quality razor with plenty of refills and your electric trimmer. But then just be prepared for the possibility that, you know, depending on where you are, that might be something that's difficult to find. Filipinos aren't known for having big, huge beards. So sometimes finding a decent razor for a big, thick beard is kind of a hard thing to come by. So.
Yeah, because I think generally Filipinos don't grow their facial hair out that much. And if they do, it's not very thick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are somebody that has like a thicker or a curlier beard, then definitely bring a trimmer or some kind of razor, some kind of reusable razor from home.
Yep.
So that you don't have to worry about finding one in country. Because the one that I found, it works fine, but it was also kind of expensive. But it was also like the only option. So, and I wanted to look clean shaven and like kind of nice for like at least decently presentable for swearing in.
For swearing in, yeah.
Without having to like shave my entire face clean shaven, because I didn't want that. But
yeah, and for me, like now I buy the disposable razors now. Like I brought the nice one, but I don't spend that money on those refills. I just buy disposables because they're cheaper. So
yeah. Well, and actually I was gonna say, like if you shave your legs at all, for men or women, if you shave your legs at all, do you think that the disposable razors you can find here would suffice for that? Because I know a lot of people that necessarily here, but I know a lot of people back in the States who do that regularly. Like when they shower, they shave.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say that, like,
do you think the razors that you find here are good enough to do that, or do you think maybe only for your face?
You can find both. For whatever reason, in my municipality, even though it's kind of a bigger one, good razors are hard to find. So I would probably have to go somewhere like Watson's, which is a nice big box pharmacy, and spend a little bit more money on some decent ones. Because even like men and women, at least it seems like especially shaving your legs is not really a big thing here. So I feel like just shaving in general, because Filipinos, I would say statistically, have less body hair. It's just not as big of a cultural thing. So you have to kind of go to some of those bigger name brand places like an SM Marketplace or a Watson's to find the really good name brand ones that are going to be good quality, and they're going to be more expensive. So it's like, it goes back to the consumables thing. You could bring the stuff here, but eventually you're going to run out, and you're going to have to figure it out in country anyways. And I would say 9 times out of 10, even if in your specific municipality you can't find something, you're going to be able to commute to a bigger city, like you and I can, and you could kind of stock up on the stuff that you need in a mall or a supermarket, and then you could still bring it back to your municipality. So it's probably going to be purchasable in country still, but I mean, we're lucky to be in the Philippines where we can pretty much travel max 30 minutes to an hour away, get everything we need, and that's if we can't just get it in our own community. So
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I think for me the only things I wish that I had brought are those consumables that probably weren't realistic to bring, but if I could do it again, I think I would have brought a couple big things of coffee. Maybe, I mean, you can't bring a lot because they'll consider it as an import, but I think I could have brought at least 1 or 2 good bags of coffee, and that would have kind of made me feel a little bit more at home as I mentally adjusted in those first couple of weeks. And I might have even brought a few like monsters, and probably more like just the candies, all the, comfort kind of stuff. I think I would have brought a little bit more of that to help me with the transition, because for me, the reality really set in early on, and I had a tough first couple of weeks during that transition. So stuff to make me feel a little bit more comfortable during that time, I think, is what I would have brought. So
yeah.
Other than that, I can probably think of more things that I wish I hadn't brought, like a lot of the stuff that went into my suitcase. So all right, sick. Any final thoughts?
Bring the things that spark joy.
Bingo.
Don't bring the things that don't spark joy.
Yes.
And yeah, that's about it.
Don't bring the things that you think you need to bring because you were overthinking and decided you needed to bring them. Did that make sense, Alex?
Yes. Just yeah.
Don't bring, like you said earlier, don't bring the what ifs. What ifs you can buy in country, I would say. Unless they're for an emergency, like backup lighting, stuff like that. If you're thinking of, oh, what if I'm cold one day and you're going to a tropical country, just take care of that when you get to the country. You'll be okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, we are rolling up on 2 hours, so this is going to be a long upload. But hopefully it's been informative.
Hopefully.
All right. I think it's time for us to log off. I'm Grayson Black. They are
Alex Schmitz.
By God.
From the big Ohio.
Ohio. This is the Ohio-Tennessee connection. God, what a connection. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Most of you all probably know I am a children, youth, and families volunteer, or at like the Peace Corps level, I'm a youth development volunteer, and Alex is.
Education, specifically primary.
Yeah. So Alex is a teacher, works in a school, primary school, and I am youth development volunteer, and I work at the local government level with the MSWD. So I'm going into like an administrative building every day, and Alex is going into a school most days, every day. So, all right. Hope this has been helpful. If you've got questions, throw them in the comments. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.